Good morning, everyone. It's been a long time. Unfortunately, been on kind of a nomadic journey recently, so I thought I'd get everyone caught up with what's going on and also have a topic for today. So, so be mindful leadership. You know, the whole channel here is really around not title, right? It's you don't have to be in a leadership title position to show leadership and be mindful in how you approach things. And you know, this channel is kind of a pay it forward with all the good stuff I've come across over the years, trial and error, as I've made my own journey. And I did end up with a senior leadership role, but I rolled up my sleeves early in, some software development startups, and I paid my dues, and I think coming from the grassroots up, I held on to a lot of good skills, but I had to learn a lot of new ones, and also how to let go, right? Going from an individual contributor up to running larger teams and building larger teams. So this is just me paying it forward to people that are either starting out in a team, a new manager, either starting a team or joining an existing team. How do you integrate? And then how do you run teams remote, hybrid? So there's this whole lot that I want to unpack on this channel, and I'm glad you're here, and you're probably wondering where I am. Well, I'm going to leave that as a little secret for now, and I'll show you some scenery and see if you can figure it out, and leave it in the comments and let me know what you think, okay? So, the topic I wanted to cover today is recognition. So, thing with, and recognizing people in the team's contributions, and this can happen whether you're a lead, whether you want to recognize, a fellow coworker, and there's some nuances to this, right? To make sure that you're not just recognizing, but it's effective, because not everyone likes to be recognized in the same way, or it's uncomfortable sometimes in larger groups, and sometimes they like it. And so it's just really wanted to chat about recognition and maybe a little bit about what might motivate people to continue and strive for a good culture and good interaction with everyone. So anyway, I'd love to hear, some of your comments on this, and leave it to me, and let's have a little bit of a dialogue, because this is not about, I'm just trying to bring forward a bit of my experience only, and by no means is this the end all and be all, but I think it'll hopefully help you think about this, right? In a different light. And if you have things that really work for you, love to hear about it. So recognition. Why would you give recognition? Well, I think as part of a positive culture, and there's a dog. As you can see, I'm just out for my walk this morning. All right, so with recognition, I'll do it from a manager level right now, but keep in mind this can be done at any level. And so we love to give feedback along the way. That's kind of my thing. I don't wait for reviews and stuff. I find that keeping the pulse or giving the pulse helps in making sure everyone's on the same page. So as we were talking about with recognition, it helps build the culture and positivity and communication. I mean, communication's key. And as you know, or should start experiencing, everyone communicates in different ways, right? And so you as a potential leader or a leader or senior leader or whatever you want to coin yourself, being able to navigate that and be able to connect with people in how they see things in perspective, while still at the same time showing direction and consistency and in your approach and be able to be transparent. So it's not something you learn overnight, and this is a lifelong thing. Even now with me kind of stepping out of the 9 to 5 or more than that, but out of the day-to-day stuff, I'm still here talking with you and paying forward the things that still excite me and that I still believe in, and want you to thrive off that, right? I mean, be mindful leadership is 3 key words, right? Is to learn, grow, and thrive. So I'll let you unpack what that means for you. And so for recognition, why do we do it? Well, I've kind of explained that, and as far as connecting with people, giving them a sign that you see them, that you understand, and they understand the importance of what they're doing. And that'll reverberate to the rest of the team and to other teams within the organization. And team culture is something where, and I'll go into more of these videos about team culture because it's multifaceted, right? And just how important it is that you set the tone for that up front and expectations, and that you lead by example. And then the culture sort of takes, you don't have to micromanage, well, you shouldn't micromanage in the first place. But it's something that they believe in, right? And because they believe in you. And you've probably heard the term, or the saying about people don't quit their jobs, they quit their managers or leadership. And I do truly believe that. And we spend so much time on the frontline people that support and grow our organizations that we put the wrong people in leadership. And that doesn't mean that these people are bad. In a lot of cases, they're ill-equipped. They don't get the mentorship they need, or people think that the only way to succeed is going up. And there are people that are very technically inclined or sales oriented or whatever your niche is, that they should move more horizontal and grow sort of the diversity of what they're good at, but I think we all have that leadership in us where we can participate, collaborate, and help move things forward, and we can learn from that, right? And apply that. So, I've learned through at least my experience that for recognition, it really depends, and we want the most effective, most impactful sort of recognition. And that's not always works out, especially in larger organizations. But let's say, for instance, you are joining a new team. So, and I'll go into other videos on sort of the first hours or days of a new manager. I'll go in another video, and if you'd like to see that, please comment and let me know if there's specifics that you want to hear. The thing is to figure out what their communication style is like and what motivates them. So, as a new manager, you come in and you do your one-on-ones, or even if you're not a manager, you can just take a few minutes, right? And get to know what makes them tick. And that will help you also communicate with them in a way that makes sense for them. And because there's so much diversity in the workforce, you have to sort of look at, different cultures have different ways to communicate. Some are very implicit and some are explicit, and some take what you might consider normal conversation as an insult. So you just have to be mindful of that and know that if you want to communicate and get along with people and to motivate people to a common goal, then you're going to need to step up and learn these soft skills. And whether you're a manager or leader in a role, one's more tactical, one's more strategic. So, of course, you're going to be more transactional and getting things done and all that, versus in a senior role where you're really looking at strategics, right? And a lot of stuff that's not, your day-to-day is much different. So get to know them, get to find out what makes them tick, and then, I think that, communicating to them and giving them kudos in person, and it can just work as much as someone else that, in a large sort of company setting where they can get recognized. And, that's going to differ depending on, the culture, the people and all that. So I can't really say do this. I don't think it hurts to ever do a personal one-on-one sort of recognition. I think where it may be more efficient or more impactful is some people like sort of being brought out in public or in team meetings and so forth. The only problem with that, or the only thing to be careful of, is that once you start naming names in larger groups, then you have to be cognizant that there are people that say, well, why wasn't I mentioned? So, it's this game. So I would start small, start of the sort of one-on-one. And then from there, and maybe what you do is in the smaller teams, you recognize the team and teams, right? This is not just your team, but, you need to collaborate well with other departments or other teams. So you might want to give a shout out to, individuals or other teams, because that builds cross-departmental sort of camaraderie. But yeah, mention teams and maybe everyone on the team, or you could do it as far as slides are concerned. Add it to a slide if you're not presenting and maybe your boss's boss or someone else is running it and you just need to call out certain people. Also, when you call them out, what I found is effective is you should give examples of why they're being recognized. Sometimes good job, and that's kind of generic, right? It's like back in the good old days when you used to write sort of postcards or letters and, or kudos and all that. You would mention, you make it personalized. So make sure that you don't have to get into a lot of detail, but say, this made a big difference for our team, and maybe mention an obstacle that was overcome that they assisted with, and just gives context not only to them of what you notice, but to other people if it isn't a public sort of domain, that they go, oh, you know, and then they get recognized, and then, you know, it helps them with, I don't know, promotions and support, and saying, hey, this person is worth keeping an eye on. So I think that is definitely something you want to think about. I think that as far as some people give gifts for recognition, I think if you know you're in a position where you can purchase stuff for a department, or even you as an individual or a lead want to give a little something, it's nice. It's a bit of a slippery slope when you start giving gifts through work, depending on your role, and so I wouldn't lead with that, because I think that being consistent in your recognition and kudos to people genuinely, right, goes far. Now some opportunities might become like different sort of holidays, like Christmas and stuff, where you can kind of roll things up into gifts. But I wouldn't lead with gifts as an incentive. You know, there's other opportunities to recognize people for their hard work through raises, through other little perks, company incentives. So I'd be hesitant to always give, you know, people something. But I'd be interested in, you know, what works for in your organization, because or your team, because these are not hard, fast rules, and I don't mean to be slippery here, but you know, in my experience, it's I've learned, you know, different ways, and it's not the same way, and what I'm trying to lead towards is not showing favoritism to one person, right? Because we all know that can backfire if you're on the other end of this. And so you just have to be cautious of what the optics look like, because, you know, you could be trying to do a really good deed and it backfires. And you know, if you stay in the industry long enough for what you're doing, and you're transparent and with people, things are going to backfire. But I think it's how you react and how you communicate what your intent was, and you learn from it, right? And that's why I think this channel is great. That, you know, I'm trying to spread a different approach to recognition, to understand the nuances of the human behavior, because there's not enough of it. And if you're in a great company that a lot of this is like, you know, Edward, you're telling me stuff I already know. Well, that's great, you know, and so you should be a shepherd, an advocate for that, and make sure that you move it forward. So it's easy enough to say I work in that company that's like that, but you're part of the solution, or you're going to be part of the problem, right? And I want you to be a solution and learn from it, and not get deflated when things don't go as planned, that you hold steady, right? Because people are going to rely on you. People are going to look to you for direction, whether you have the title or not, right? I think that natural leaders surface early on, right? I mean, I look for that where they can take things on, even if they don't know the answers, they'll find out, right? And that's why I'm saying it's, you know, success in whatever industry you're in is not always vertical, right? It's not always, oh, I'm going to be a manager, or I'm going to, general manager, or I'm going to be a VP. If that makes you happy, great. If you're good at it, that's even better. If you suck at it, no. Then you're you're going to end up damaging and creating a culture that mimics your bad behaviors. And it's okay to recognize behaviors based on what you know. But once you start learning different, then it's your responsibility to alter, right? And to learn from that. So I hope that makes sense. And anyway, I think I'm going to end it there. But I think recognition, it's, I might have some follow-ups and other things, but just want to kind of cover how I see recognition, how to communicate it, at what level and how, and also the whole what to give or not to give as far as these recognitions. So hope that was somewhat useful, and I'm also very interested to see what you think of where I'm at. I'm still not going to tell you, but I'll show you in the background there. So hopefully you can tell me where I think I am. Maybe I don't even know where I am. Looks like I'm on Mars, right? So thanks for watching, and give it a like if you like, and subscribe for more, and look forward to seeing you later. Bye for now.